Hello traders, this is a weekly video about DAX and about US markets, and in this video I will cover the daily and the weekly charts of US indices and DAX, and I will also cover the day trading opportunities that we had on DAX and on US indices on Friday. So let's get first to the updated chart that was posted before the open. This is for DAX. Let's go then to the chart and to see what kind of opportunities we had for Friday. So this is a 5-minute chart of DAX. This was Thursday and this was Friday, and I said that the zones are going to be the same. And first opportunity that we had, so the only change about this chart was the position of the cash close. So first opportunity that we had was immediately after the open, when DAX made this kind of move to the upside and then tested the zone below. So as you can see, on Thursday, on Thanksgiving Day, first we had this move to the downside, and then basically from 10:30 to the end of the trading, market was just ranging between these two zones. And this zone 110 and 130 is the zone above this gap up here, and an important place for buyers to defend. So the majority of time on Thursday was here, and the market just continued to be in that same range. And whenever we are trading in the environment of the lower volume, that really doesn't, saying much about the directionality of the market. The market can be directional and still run on a low volume, but it's saying more about the range potential, meaning that a lower volume means smaller range potential. And a day after the holiday, you can expect low volume, you can expect small range potential, but what you also can expect is the sideways movement, because it is not just an ordinary low volume day. It is a day when you can't really expect nothing decisive. And that is one of the reasons why in such days breaks are likely going to fail. So this was our first opportunity, as I said, right after the open at 9 and 5, let's say 5 minutes. So this was our first opportunity for going long and to expect the price to get to the next zone. And on this, close to this next zone, is the place for us to get out of our trade. And it was really a fast move. Basically it took like less than 15 minutes for the price to make this kind of move for 50 points. And that was our first trade. Then what happened? Price made a small pullback from this 180 to 200 zone, and then made another move, and this here was a failed breakout attempt. This here was an upthrust. And when you are trading some instrument for a long time, or trading this DAX for a living, then you will know how that instrument breathe. Then you will know that what kind of break is required for you to go on continuation type of trades, to go long or short on pullback. And in my experience, and in this type of volatility, and in this type of ranges, we need at least 30 and better more points to the upside, so that we can go along on a pullback. 30, 40, 50, the more the better, and then pull back to the broken resistance that now act as a support, and we should go long on a pullback on continuation type trades. But as I said, This is not a day to expect such a trades at all. This is a day when you can expect. This was a day when you could expect sideways activity, low volume, small range. So there is really no room for continuation type trades on a Friday, day after Thanksgiving. So then we had this type of move, and this move died here on 209. So only 9 points above. And let's observe this on a 1 minute chart. So this was it. 9 points above, and then get back into the zone. Let's emphasize these zones better, because we already know, of course, that the entire activity on Friday was between these two zones, this one and this one to the downside. So this here, only 9 points above the zone, and the price got immediately rejected back into the zone, and that is our signal to go short. This is a false breakout attempt. So this is here, this is a false. This is an, imagine the buyers here. Imagine the people who bought at 201, 202, 203. And basically 1 minute later they are already feeling the heat, and the price is already inside the zone. And if they don't use zones, if they use just support and the resistance lines, then they can also can see that the price broke this resistance, and now it's immediately below it. They are feeling the heat, and they are going to close their trades, because this here, this is a fail. So that is something that you should short. And this is short right here when the price is back inside the zone. This is a short here, and your stop is above this spike. It's above here. It is here. So in an environment of normal volume, a normal day, you shouldn't get this kind of chopping. It's going to be a pretty straight move to this same zone again. But since this was low volume after the holiday day, we had some chopping, but then price get back to the zone. And here, because we have a cash close above the zone, and also the target should be really slightly above the zone, this is our target, and we are exiting this trade here. So this was our exit. And then this is an interesting part. Before the New York Stock Exchange opened, market attempted a breakdown of this level, and the same was happening on US markets also. DAX was lagging behind, so even this move to the downside in expectation of the breakdown could be caught. And this is a good example what market would usually do if they want to try to break down a support level. Let's go again to the 1 minute chart, and this is a tell. Market is telling you that it is attempting, that it is preparing to attempt a breakdown. And how can you make that kind of conclusion? Well, first, after the pre-market, this here was pre-market. You can see the clock below. It's 8:20, 8:22, and so on. And here is 9:10. So this is already RTH session, regular trading hours. We got our first pullback to the support zone. We had our move for a long trade. Then price came back again and made a smaller bounce. So this bounce first was to the top of the zone. The second bounce wasn't really to the zone at all. So this was for first bounce, this here was second bounce, and then this here was third bounce. And every bounce was smaller and smaller. And the moment this started to U-turn again, this is your entry for a short trade in expectation of the breakdown. And that breakdown could be a real breakdown on some other day, on day when you have more momentum, more volume, and so on. Today is the day that you don't expect it. You can try this. I personally tried it. And I didn't really expect that trade to work. I just took 25 points off it and run for the hills. And while that was happening here on the American markets, we had this kind of situation. Let's open that. This was the S&P. This was the Nasdaq, and this was Russell. Back to the charts. And when price started to climb back inside the zone, and you observe that the American markets has the same thing of the behavior, the same false breakdown attempt is taking place, then this is your long trade again. Right here with your stop below this here, and again exited the zone here. So basically you had between these two zones that are only from top of this zone to the bottom of this zone is just 50 points. But we had three opportunities: long, short, long. And these zones are going to be important also for Monday, because this is basically one range, and we can fully expect that this range ain't gonna stay there forever. This is the range. So this range got false breakout attempt here, false breakdown attempt here, and this range is going to break. And note that above the range and below the range we have unfilled gaps, and we have another zones. So this is what we can expect on Monday: a break of this range and the price to go either to the upside or to the downside. We shall see about the direction. So on a 4-hour chart, market is still holding above this zone from the higher time frames. We still have a spring and all of that. And let's observe. This is the futures DAX chart, weekly chart of the futures, and this is something that I have shown before. This is a 200 weekly moving average. As you can see, we had our second consecutive closing below it, and the price is still hanging on this trend line, which is dating from the September of 2011, so for 7 years. And what can happen if this trend line breaks? Of course, we could expect a bigger movement to the downside, and again use fib retracement in combination with our zones from the lower time frames. And let's also observe again things from the US markets. Let me just open those pictures, and let's get back to this moment here on the S&P. S&P was the weakest. Here it is. It was the spring, the false breakdown below yesterday low, below the low of Thursday. And look how that is. If you don't have this line representing a low from Thursday, and you see this kind of picture, then you will think that there is going to be a breakdown. And then if you draw a line and starting to observe that the price is going to the upside, then you will make a conclusion that there's not going to be a breakdown, and in fact it's going to be a false breakdown and later a short covering rally. And it was very strong on Russell. Now this was, a prime example of how false breakdown or spring works. And spring is something that is closely related to the bullish markets. When breakdowns tends to fail. We are now not in bullish environment, we are in fact in a bearish environment, but those kind of days, Thanksgiving and the day after that, was really neutral days, and in neutral days both, as you can see on DAX, both breakout and breakdown, they both failed. And observe this was yesterday low level on Russell, it was broken falsely, and then the price went all the way up to this main resistance and then failed. So this was a really good long here, and this was here a really good short. On Nasdaq it was a bit smaller move, but nevertheless bigger move than on the S&P. S&P was really the weakest on Friday. And let's observe now what is the picture on daily charts. On the S&P, as you can see, look how this is looking. So price is basically hugging. This is the support that they are hugging really here. They are hanging here, and really, if they lose this support here, the next step is going to be testing of this October 29 lows, and then lows from the April or February. This is how it looks on the index, and this is the channel in which we are currently on the S&P. You can make it like this. So this channel has already been tested once. Now we have this kind of move, and I said before, and I tweeted about it, I'm sure you can remember that this day, this huge bullish day here, this was right after the US midterm elections, and this was something that the market perceived as really bullish and so on, but they just moved the price right to the resistance level, and then there was a failure. So why am I showing so much of this S&P? Because S&P is now correlating with DAX, and DAX is a follower, and DAX will in his after hour market will move in sympathy with the S&P. So it is useful to look at the S&P chart. DAX isn't going to correlate with Nasdaq. Nasdaq is here, as you can see, is in his own channel holding for now. DAX isn't going to correlate with Russell. Russell is still, this is the main support level for Russell, but DAX is going to correlate with the S&P, and DAX is a S&P follower, so it is a good thing to look at the S&P from time to time, especially when the RTH session is on US. So to observe, and DAX was lagging behind this move here, and it was easier then to conclude that then on the DAX is also going to be a false breakdown attempt. So that is all for me for this weekly video. We have seen the main support areas that the buyers really need to hold on both the American markets and on the DAX. This is I'm sorry, not this, but this here. This on DAX is really the main support area there that it has to hold. If it doesn't hold, we are going to test these lower prices. And you could see in this video how correlation between S&P and DAX, and when one index is lagging behind the other, can help you in making your trading decisions for day trading. So that was all for me for this video, and on Monday you will get an updated chart with adjusted zones. I wish you good weekend and good trading.